Hi everyone, this is Ken from Crypto Trading KS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back to our regular community. This is a special episode on the Chinese crackdown in crypto. There was a statement or article released from the Central Bank of the People's Republic of China. This particular one, which is talking about virtual currencies. It has some very specific directives. In fact, there are 16 particular clauses that it addresses. It's done from the highest level. I covered this off in episode 261. China makes crypto illegal. Is this a black swan? What are your risks? And what are the real facts? I have highlighted here the analysis 16 seconds in, point 4. Any legal person, unincorporated organization, or natural person investing in virtual currency and related derivatives, any resulting losses shall be borne by them. This is a very, very important clause. Basically, what it means is the central government in China, the CCP, can clamp down and claim all crypto on its own accord, and the losses will be that of the people. This is very far-reaching law. It's a little bit different to what we've seen before. Crypto has been banned by China many times before, but this time I believe it's different, and I'll outline the reasons for my thinking that way. On social media, you may have seen things like this. China bans banks from handling Bitcoin. China clamps down. Correct. This has happened many times in the past, but this particular work by China has a different context and a different flavor. You may have seen things like this. China banning Bitcoin and crypto, the ban date, the Bitcoin price, and the percentage move annualized. I of course believe this is going to be correct for us in the long term. Just think back to the decrease from the peak of around $65,000. If you had been warned that there were issues in the market around that time, would you have preferred to have known about them or just been recommended to buy the dip? What I think, as a professional trader, I look at news and most of it is quite seriously noise, but some of it has signal. We are still under resistance at the current point in time. We have a stronger support line below us. We'll be expecting a bounce. If price gets above this resistance and starts to go, we can simply enter back into the market. There's a lot of uncertainty around at the moment, but the one thing to note is that I believe this past sell-off was China driven. Basically, Bitcoin decreased in price 54.54% from its peak. That's quite nasty in terms of a retracement. Long-time members of our community know that I'm incredibly bullish on Bitcoin. That has not changed. I'm just factoring in signal, but I'll explain why I think it's signal and not FUD. There's a very good article from Cointelegraph. Crypto has recovered from China's FUD over a dozen times in the last 12 years. What I would like to do is to actually bring your attention to point 14. Crypto was allegedly behind 2020's crypto bloodbath, and it definitely was a bloodbath. Many people were seriously burned. This was caused by the China miner exodus. I've got some things to say about that which may raise some eyebrows, definitely. You can read this article. I'll make sure I link it in the description of this video. I think it is a fantastic article, well done. This is why I think things are different this time. China was a great adopter of crypto. Why? Because it wanted to bring out its central bank digital currency, the digital yuan, or yuan, depending on how you want to pronounce it. That is fantastic, and China did so very well. Then it banned the miners. That had a very significant impact. Now it's banning crypto. and also all transactions relating to crypto transactions from China. Now, a lot of people think the hash rate has come out of China. I don't believe that's the case at all. If we go across to blockchain.com, look at total hash rate, we can see since the China miner exodus that drove price down, the Bitcoin hash rate, or the total hash rate, has been recovering. This is really good, of course, but where is that hash rate now? If you go to chainbulletin.com, you'll see a Bitcoin mining map. What do you notice about the hash power, the hash rate? Where is it coming from? It's coming from China. And what about all these different? We can see these miners and pool, F2 pool via BTC, Poolin and BTC.com. But where are these pools located and what percentage of the total hash rate do they account for? Looking at BTC.com, we can see Antpool via BTC, F2 pool and Poolin account for quite a large slice of the hash rate pie. The largest one is Antpool. Let's have a look at where that is located. Going to Crunchbase, I love to track the money. Antpool does not have any venture capital funding. So therefore, we just put Antpool into Google and do a search. We can see Bitmain owns Antpool, and Bitmain is in Beijing, China. Going to Crunchbase, I have a professional registration on Crunchbase. It's very hard to get this information free. I love sharing it with you. Basically, Bitmain has obtained nearly $800 million in funding. And you can see here it's located in Beijing, China. What about F2 Pool? That is also located in Beijing, China. It's really interesting. When I actually went in to look at F2 Pool, what I did, I went to create an account into terms of service and then did an analysis. I have a background in legal analysis. One of the things I was looking for was its jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is where any legal complaints are filed and handled. People always want it to be a jurisdiction in their geographic region. It's saying here the Cayman Islands and Hong Kong, but when you follow the money from the venture capitalists, it's in Beijing, China. Turning to via BTC, that's in Guangdong, China, Shenzhen. Poolin is in Beijing, China. We could see that Binance is actually in Malta and has received about 35 million in total funding. It's also interesting to look across different tokens. For example, Cardano, which is in Switzerland. If there's something you would like me to look at, please let me know. You can see Kraken is in San Francisco, California, Uniswap in Brooklyn, New York, Ethereum Foundation in Switzerland. These can give you quite a good idea. We're not seeing any China exposure in these particular areas. Quite a few people ask me about KuCoin. I would always suggest that you go to the sign up and you look at terms of use. You're trying to find jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is really important. Sometimes when you look through these things, you can search for keywords. For example, if I searched for China, it doesn't come up. If I search for Hong Kong, oh, it does come up. Now, what are we seeing here? KuCoin, the fiat trading service provider, is located in Hong Kong, and the jurisdiction is covered by the laws of Hong Kong. That is really quite important. Hong Kong is part of China. My Hong Kong friends have reached out and said that they have a certain level of protection from mainland China in terms of laws passed in mainland China as opposed to Hong Kong. But as we see this fight on crypto intensify, we may find those laws getting relaxed. It's always important to understand why governments do these things. I'll go through that a little bit later. Huobi is in Beijing, China. OKX is in Hong Kong, China. VeChain is quite interesting. It's both in Shanghai, China and Singapore. Sometimes to get an idea of where something is, you can go to CoinMarketCap, go up to the search and put your beloved alt in there. And then you can have a look at the websites. You can have a look at the community. There's a variety of things that you can do. You can expand the information page. See exactly where the founders are living. If they have LinkedIn profiles, that can be quite good. I always think it's a really good idea to check the legal jurisdiction of companies. We can see the VeChain Foundation. It's registered in Singapore. However, we also know that Singapore and China are two jurisdictions of VeChain. It's important to dig more deeply. If you hold VET, I would argue that the best way you could do things is actually contact them and ask what this new legislation means to VET and get it directly from them. You can also look more deeply just using Google. You can search for registrations. Sometimes there's a lack of transparency in the crypto space. You have to do a lot of research. Having a look at those links from Google can often help. Doing another one of those links for Singapore business, what I found was something quite interesting. VeChain currently operates out of 7 offices located in Shanghai, Singapore, Paris, Luxembourg, Palo Alto, Tokyo, and Hong Kong. There's a difference between a subsidiary company and a parent or holding company. This is not clear with VeChain, if they're subsidiaries or they're ultimately owned by a Chinese parent. I don't have enough information on that just yet. People were also talking about stablecoins, for example, BUSD. BUSD is put out by Paxos. Paxos is registered in New York in the US. You can see it's had quite a degree, over 500 million in venture capital funding. Going to the Paxos site, stablecoin as a service, we can see BUSD is actually a stablecoin issued by Paxos. When we have a look at Circle, we can see Circle has obtained more than $700 million in VC funding. It's located in Boston, Massachusetts, in the US. China pushed the crypto narrative and grew the Chinese talent pool because it needed the digital yuan, the central bank digital currency, or digital yuan, however you'd like to pronounce it. It wanted this central bank digital currency as it would be able to control things much better inside the country. When the CCP got rid of the miners, or supposedly, we can see still the hash rate is coming from China. That caused an enormous problem for the crypto market. Now they're going further. This banning of crypto, the transactions, forcing the banks not to accept any transactions. But realistically, the thing that concerns me most is that they can basically stop the internet traffic related to any crypto related business, including mining. If you consider that the hash rate is coming out of China, they now have the legal precedence to go one step further and not just say, well, the miners are banned, but basically turn off the hash rate. That is going to create a problem. I believe that will take them some time, but we shouldn't put our head in the sand and say, oh, it simply won't happen, diamond hands, buy the dip. This is a little bit more than that. If you think back to when the miner exodus occurred, if you had a bit of a heads up as to what kind of problem it could be, maybe a lot of people wouldn't have lost as much money as they did. When we look at the KS model, I put a black swan event here, China miner exodus, the liquidity blow off, the death cross scare. This has been in the model for quite a long time. I was saying that was a black swan, and it was a very substantial reduction. Let's return to before the China miner issue hit. If you were told up here that there were problems, would you be happy? You could see price going up and down, moving in a wave, and then you would say, oh, there's no problem with the China miners, it's fantastic. Oh my goodness, what just happened? This is what we really want to seek to avoid. Maintaining your wealth position is incredibly important. That doesn't mean we panic. Price is always moving in a wave, and we're very early, but we are aware of what is going on. I think it's better to be aware than not to be aware. We know that crypto is under resistance at the moment. If it gets above there, from a trading perspective, or it consolidates around, we'll be very flexible with our opinion. We'll ride out the waves as best we can, with always the concept that we are aware of what the signal is underneath the crypto market. When we consider that this sell-off was hash rate associated, and we know now that those hash rate providers are still in China, what do you think will happen next? It's not too hard to understand that this may be a massive correction. We're just getting ahead of it. So many people are saying, oh, diamond hands, newbies selling, they don't know crypto. But sometimes there's a lot more signal in things than people would realize. Now, why do I say that? Basically, the digital yuan is the way that the CCP wants to, I guess, transfer wealth around the Chinese economy. It has already a social credit system. It has the most surveillance of any country in the world. Because of the pandemic, there's been a lot of disruptions to supply chains, and many countries are now decoupling from China. That's directly going to hit the GDP. The Chinese talent pool of crypto is, of course, in China. So many brilliant people involved in crypto are Chinese. The real issue that I think is playing in here is Evergrande, the property developer. Evergrande has a lot of debt, and it's not alone. Its peers also have an enormous amount of debt, and with 25% odd of the GDP coming from the real estate sector, that is like the increase in housing prices. The Chinese government cannot afford for the market, the real estate market, to crumble. So what is it going to do? It's going to basically say, well, let's just make crypto illegal, let's confiscate it, and let's just dump it. So we've got a lot of threats all coming in at once. It doesn't mean we say crypto is over. Absolutely not. I totally believe in the long-term vision of crypto, but it could mean that you pick up something for an absolute bargain. There's a very, very powerful thing that is not widely known. When something comes down 50%, if it recovers fully, it goes up 100%. That is pretty cool. If it started at 20, comes down to 10, and then goes back to 20, that's a 100% increase from 10 to 20. When we look at this price action, the China miner exodus and problem, we can see this 55% reduction coming up to this peak was 83.72%. When we say it's good to get on the sidelines and buy lower, and that is absolutely what I am doing, and I would always suggest, that is fantastic. You get these kind of opportunities, they don't come along very often. It's actually a fantastic thing. These kind of crises are not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination. What we're really looking at is incredible opportunities to make some very substantial profits. We're not concerned about this as a black swan event. We're just preparing to take advantage of it. We had a lot of questions from the community, and I will go through those. One thing, in 2014, this estimate was brought up for the price of Bitcoin, and we've seen others from Fidelity Investments. Do I believe that this is still intact? Absolutely, definitely. It may be a little bit delayed, but it's definitely in process. Bitcoin and crypto cannot be stopped. They're the next evolution of money. What I managed to do is to divide the questions into about 10 buckets. Stablecoins was one particular question. The thing to understand about what is happening in China is it's not, for example, USDT, we know that's in China, that's China-based, China-related, therefore caution must be considered. USDC is US-based, though that makes it safer. The concept is, with Tether USDT, transferring it to USDC is quite easy to do and very little transaction cost, if any. We also saw about BUSD. So Binance coin is issued by Paxos. Paxos is in the US, but if your server is in China or it has a head office in China, it can be closed down, the funds confiscated, and the losses borne by the people that bear the losses. That's why that particular clause 4 is so concerning. One thing about stablecoins, if you buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or ADA or any alt with USDT or BUSD or anything, it doesn't matter, fiat currency, you end up with that particular coin. So for example, say that you take $1,000 and it's in USDT or USDC or BUSD or Paxos, it doesn't matter what it's in, and you buy Bitcoin with it, you now have $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, minus of course any transaction fees. The concept is it's now independent of stable coins. The key is when you want to convert Bitcoin into some other stable coin or fiat currency. With the majors, you will have no problem, and a lot of minor alts are paired with Bitcoin. So we could see potentially a push in Bitcoin's price. This may happen. This is something that we will look out for, and it was one of the questions. But the problem is, if we have 0.9 confiscation and dumping, for example, a lot of comments came through, if people aren't allowed to withdraw any of their coins now, could they be considered dead, like dead coins, and never to be sold, decreasing overall supply? And I don't understand the mechanics of why this will lead to a potential serious crash. The real issue is that individuals will lose their coin. They will lose their crypto. It will be confiscated by the government. And what does the government do? Do you think that it just quietly sells for the best price? No, not really. It has an incentive to just sell it. Just think about this. If the bank forecloses a mortgage and repossesses a house, do they care what they get for it? No, they don't care. They just sell it for whatever. I believe that would be the problem with the Chinese law as it stands. That is what I'm concerned about. And of course, they can seize everything from anywhere. Any Chinese-based activity related to crypto will get hit. They were serious about the miner exodus, and we can see that, well, over time, that this will be the case. It may take a little bit of time to play out. As I said, we're early, but the issue is better early with information than late and losses. I'll just very quickly go through these other things. Is the bull market over? No, I don't think so. Are we on schedule? I believe we are delayed. Should we sell all? It really depends on your position and what you're doing. That's not an easy question to answer. Many people said that they're hodlers and they don't really care. They just hold on to it, and that is fair. When do you think the run will end? We have to now? No, I don't believe so. How likely and by what percent do you think that Bitcoin could fall below 35,000? We'll just have to keep our eyes on the technicals. I am highly stressed. I'm so sorry. It's very stressful. Crypto is horrible in terms of stress. Should I sell, or could this repair over the next month or two? Quite possibly it could, but remember those percentages. If it dips down, if there's dumping on the market, wow, we're going to be there buying that, definitely. Could it be going down for some time? Yes, it could. What about I sell all my altcoins and convert to USDC? You just have to do what you think is right. Many people were waiting to re-enter. They were on the sidelines, can't wait to get back in. Just remember, this may take a little bit of time. It's not going to play out in the next couple of days. It's not like that. Maybe I'll wait for a few days, possibly buy back in once the dust settles. Let's just keep our eyes on the technical levels. Just holding or hodling. Since I'm a compounder, I'm not worried about prices today or next year. Good on you, absolutely. And that is a really, really good way to think. Some people aren't as fortunate. A lot of people are using money that they need. If you need money, you're not going to want to see any significant reductions in the value of what you've got. Again, we'll be looking at the technicals every single day. Assessing cryptos, I'm confused. VET is Chinese, so we did a bit of looking at that. Could you look at Sol and Link in relationship to China? The real critical thing is where the mining companies are based. We can see they're based in China. That's why I think there's a very big cause for concern. If all the mining pools are still predominantly in China, wow, they could literally shut them down. Point 6, could it be a retail pump? The pump feels retail driven. Of course, there's an enormous number of influencers out there saying it's just FUD, it's got nothing to do with it, it's just number 20. And there is some degree of truth in that, of course, but there's a lot more to it. One thing that really drew my attention, most YouTubers are downplaying it, but they did that with the mining ban too. I hope they're correct at this time. Of course we do. We don't want substantial sell-offs, but when there is recovery, we'll be back in. It's not a problem. This is far from over. It's just really getting started. The other one was about fake news. Here we go with China FUD for the 10th time. It's literally the 20th time. I think it's fake news. I would be a buyer here. I don't trust the CCP to report the truth. Fake news by China. Some other concepts here. Fake news by China to shake us out of the market, and the possibility of the rocket taking off without us. It's a disturbing feeling. We'll keep our eye on the technical. We let the price action decide. But having cash is a very sensible idea. If you think back to March 2020, if you had cash there, if people were warning you that there was a big problem brewing, and it was from a reputable source backed up with sensible data, that could have been a very good thing. Insider knowledge that this was coming, so that might mean the impact is already factored in. What I think has happened is that was just the people that could sell in China getting ahead of the release. I would suggest that they were inside officials, not the general public. China is going to be left behind in the new world. Absolutely. I don't know why it's cutting itself off from this, but hey, there you go. Positive long term. Absolutely. The miner exodus in China was potentially the best thing that happened to crypto. Can you imagine if the CCP completely embraced crypto? It could hold the world hostage. It certainly lost a strategic advantage there. But I don't think America, by its actions, for example, the SEC, Gary, and all the things that are happening, Elizabeth Warren, in the US, I don't think the US is going to quite take advantage of what is happening here. It's actually a really bad problem with governments all around the world. They seem to have very little insight. When we talk about confiscation and dumping, point 9, this is the critical point. This is the really big issue. The Chinese government could take over the miners. The miners get mining rewards, that is Bitcoin. If they were to dump the mining rewards onto the open market, you could already know what's going to happen because we saw it happen in the mining exodus. That would definitely result in a black swan, and it wouldn't just be the miners that they would be confiscating crypto from. And point 10, People talked about El Salvador and other countries progressively embracing Bitcoin and other cryptos. It is a win for other countries, definitely. I hope the advanced economies will start embracing crypto for what it is, but there's so many entrenched power players in the banking system, this is making it quite difficult. So doing a quick recap, what I would assess is this is a real threat. If you need to understand if your beloved alts are Chinese based, just go to CoinMarketCap, in the search, just pop down whatever is there and do some research on it. If you don't find anything, just dig a little deeper. Try and find the head office. Sometimes it's not easy. Looking in the terms and conditions is often a really good idea. Is the bull market over? No, I don't believe so at all. I think we need to be aware of this. It's early days. A lot of people are just buying the dip. And across the weekend, there are a lot of retail traders that are being taught about diamond hands and what have you. There is a time for diamond hands, absolutely. And we love buying the dip in our community. We're known for buying falling knives. I think just we need to also sit back occasionally when there's a lot of structural uncertainty. That structural uncertainty is mainly in the crypto market. I just want to show you this quickly. The Nasdaq is recovering slightly. It's just getting towards this resistance. That is actually a really good thing. And we saw fear coming out of the US market as well. We look at the US market because it's such a dominant player. This breaking of fear resistance is fantastic for the stock market. It may buoy up crypto as well, but as all things, we're not going to miss out. There are always opportunities. We can also see that the bond futures are decreasing. This is what we actually want. If the bond futures were going up like this, we would have a particular issue. That could signify that not only crypto would be potentially subject to a black swan, but the entire financial system. This is exactly what we want. This will help make any correction in Bitcoin and crypto less than what it would have been otherwise. Please keep in mind, the price is always moving in waves. It's going up and down and up and down. When you get very sharp sell-offs, if you are risk averse, it might be an idea to just stay away from them for a time being until we have some actual solidity in the market, until we can see what is happening. When price gets above this resistance level, that is a very good sign, but we'll need to keep a really close eye on it. If price gets down to this support line around 32,500, if that is the case, we would expect a bounce definitely there. That could be a good opportunity. With all things, please take your risk profile into account. Understand how important the money is to you. Do you need it straight away, or can you afford to put it away for a couple of years and not be too concerned about it? If you can do that, then there's nothing to worry about. This is just normal, crazy volatility, but it's a little bit abnormal in terms because there's so much China dependence in the system. That means if China just basically decides to shut the mining pools down, we can see something like this, maybe ×2. We really do need to be careful. A lot of people sought to buy the dip when this was occurring. The problem is the dips don't last just a single day. This one lasted 11 days. This one lasted 10 days, 3 days, 4 days, 7 days, 9 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. This was only 2. The important thing to keep in mind is when you come to buying the dip, it's not just a day. Another article is really good to keep in mind. Senator Toomey says China's latest crypto move represents a big opportunity for the US. That it does, and all other countries that are forward thinking. Pat Toomey has been doing incredible work in the crypto space. Thank goodness some people are out there pushing it, and it's really good to see it's got bipartisan support. Both sides of the House agree that crypto is incredibly important. It is the future of the world and the next internet. There will be a lot of opportunities for some very significant gains going forward. The most important thing, if you have a little bit of spare cash, that can be great. But if you don't, that's okay too. Things will recover in time if you're in a locked-in position. I hope you found the content useful. If you think your friends or loved ones could benefit from this information, please share. Always remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.